Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
Get your team apparel now at shop.eslgaming.com.
You ready? Huh? Hey, he's a good boy, huh? You ready? Huh?
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Counter-Strike is sharing incredible moments with us and will return to a memorable place. Get your tickets now at proleague.com/Dallas.
Holding off, not fully committing. Those players are in front of him, finds a kill on the lead, maybe a seconder as well, there it is. And now the third with the pistol.
Lovely. Oh, fourth as well. On that by 2 guns, Henry. That's what I always say, but inside of the site, Rush has got something better to say. Down goes Zeus, down goes Henny, and already Optic. Oh, Rush! They're going to be going massive inside of the site. Bolt's caught off in the back corner.
They're going to move in, and once again, very clearly, they've tried this before. They've been shut down time after time again. Automatic, absolutely destroying it.
Rush here to the left. That's a nice flick. That's why you want Stewie to have the AWP. He's going to go for more as well. Looks like he's staying perch. He gets a second one. Shroud, he's got to guess if they come from above or straight ahead, and this is so awkward, but Stewie bails him out. Third kill of the round. He's being a hero. Optic has been stumped in this round, and Stewie with the fourth.
This is very, very good. Spots one. Easy shot.
Full back at this point. No need to overcommit.
Again, they've had the most success distilling Michael Lilly. Like you say, he's playing it conservatively. There's nothing wrong with that. Now down ramp, he's set for position on the left side. First shot's very easy. Knows that they're on the right. Lovely shot, and get right with the ace.
Oh, welcome back everybody. Hope you've had a nice little break. I certainly did, and so did the man on the desk with me. It's Jackie Peters. How are you feeling about LDLC versus Mouse?
I'm excited. Obviously, it's going to be a bit of an interesting game. Will Mouse keep on dominating? Right now, they're at a very good position. 7-1. They're at the top spot. Is this going to be them doubling it up, getting 2 more games on the board, and possibly ascend themselves to the back and taking the top spots? I think they might have been overtaken from that previous matchup there, as Astralis going to take that 2 of themselves. They were obviously second place, so the league table is shaping up to be very interesting. This is quite an important game, whereas LDLC, they are very far down the bottom. I think they're in that 13th place or possibly 12th at this point. And it's hard, right? Because LDLC, they're kind of the ragtag band. It's existence. Someone that was one of the great in-game leaders of Counter-Strike Source, was a fantastic player individually as well. Back again with a new lineup with some younger players in there as well, and some players that have always been doing damage, but kind of haven't really had a good home. You see some of my favorites in there as well, like the young players in Tuanu and stuff like that, who are absolute powerhouses when it comes to utilizing that orb. We're going to see him all over the place bringing chaos, but I just don't know if they'll be able to come into it and really pick this game up, as Mouse have just looked unstoppable, even since losing Nico.
Yeah, and I'll get your thoughts on that in just a minute. If you guys are fans of Mouse, you can obviously buy one of their jerseys, ESLgaming.com. If you just put a shop in front of it and a dot as well, because I forgot to say that. But you can grab yourself a jersey and you can support Mousesports, who are, of course, top of the table, as Jackie said. Astralis getting those 2 wins. They'll also be on 7 wins. When Astralis and Mouse faced off earlier in the season, it was 1-1, so I'm not even sure what's going to happen. I think they'll both be tied there at the top. But this is a good test for Mouse playing against LDLC. It's nice for them to just ease themselves in, and I think a lot of fans are going to be wondering which Mouse is going to turn up, because when you had that new addition of Oscar instead of Nico, they lost to Team Spirit in a different league, and everyone was like, these guys are rubbish. And then suddenly they just wham-bammed North in the face, like 16-5 and 16-7, and everyone was like, oh, okay, Mouse is still the real deal. And LDLC, not a great squad, so, well, okay, yes, they are a great squad, that's quite mean, but not as good as Mouse you would think. What are your thoughts? I mean, because you weren't here originally when I casted Mouse, I had a different caster in that week. Nico out, Oscar in. Mouse, what are they like now without him?
It's going to be interesting, right? Because the thing is, you lose the Nico factor that was the player that always sort of tied them through, was spoke about as being one of the greats of all time, but he didn't really have many titles to his name because his team never really supported him, if you know what I mean. He was doing all of the work, but needed some backup there. Now, he is departed from the team. The thing is as well, when you have that star factor there, you have to kind of play around him. So the difference is, losing Nico, and now with Oscar returning to the active roster, Oscar is someone that was also spoke about as this crazy AWPer. And the thing is, the only awkward factor is you've now got quite a few AWPers in that team. Like, Lau can utilize an AWP if he needs to, and he was a fantastic Spanish player. You've also got Chris J, who is primarily one of the great AWPers that people spoke about, that when he's on point, he is a fantastic AWPer. When he's not, he's kind of just there and doesn't really fit the role he needs to. So Chris J, when playing on point, is good. But Oscar was always this meme machine. Oscar was spoke about as kind of like this upcoming player that was just huge. Like, popped up, damaging everyone when he was playing for Hellraisers, floating around a little bit. Joined Mousesports, and it was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. Makes the lineup look a little bit like kind of awkward, because he slotted in there. Obviously, it didn't really work out. Had to sub him out. And the thing is, you do still have star players in there. And I think most of this are now lets players like Lau and Oscar actually pop off. This is where they're going to be able to be a little bit more restricted. They don't kind of have to play to support Nico. They can play for themselves, work with the team structure, and actually live up to some of their past greats, because they were fantastic players. Oscar as well, I'm going to be interested to see how well he's playing. He is kind of, if he pops off, I know I've spoken about him a lot already, but Oscar is a very proficient player. That's why. When he's on point, Oscar will be damaging everyone with that AWP. His AWP is very fast.
He certainly had a good performance last week against North, and a lot of questions were asked of Dennis and Spiddy as well, and they just showed up against North, and everyone was like, oh, okay, Mouse are actually the real deal. And Cobblestone is going to be the first map between these two teams. And before I get Jackie's thoughts and I pick his brain, let's have a little look at some of our pro tips for Cobblestone.
Hey Future Pros, prone to getting pwned on Cobblestone? A site been overthrown, you left all alone? Well, here's a flash that could get you out of the danger zone. To do this, jam yourself into this corner and crouch down. Aim at this incredibly distinct dark spot and throw the flash with full strength. It's certainly a noisy flash, but the lineups are easy and consistent.
Welcome back, Future Pros. I'm not going to be a Future Pro. This guy might be. Cobblestone is map number 1 between LDLC and Mouse. Looking back at statistics, Mouse actually lost Cobblestone to Spirit 16-14 quite recently. That's the most recent time they played it. We look back to week 2 though, they beat Kingwin 16-14, so that was obviously with Nico though. How do you see this one playing out, and what's your kind of thoughts and predictions here?
It's right, coming into it, obviously the thing is you kind of have to hedge your bets towards Mouse quite heavily anyway, right? You look at it, you just sort of like, right, they should win this out in terms of current form, what we've seen going through. Once again, it's basically just a statistics game. You look at it on paper, Mousesports should win in theory. Then you've got LDLC, a team that kind of, as I spoke about, is that ragtag band. You know, existence is there, trying to bring everything together, trying to make it work. But I don't know if I can really see it coming through like that, because sure, he's a great in-game leader, but I don't really feel like in CSGO we've ever seen him get back to how good he was in Counter-Strike Source. He was one of the greats back then. You know, Big Kev, the in-game leader, the absolute madman he was. Existence was an awesome player. He was one of my favorites from Counter-Strike Source. Meanwhile, in CSGO, sure, he had moments of greatness, but he's never really reached his peak once again. And for me, LDLC are one of these teams, when you look at it, right, early on, we came into that first week of the league, we looked at the leaderboard, and we thought right, you're kind of going to see LDLC towards the bottom, towards the end of the season, right? We didn't expect anything great. We thought, though, this will be a good sort of way of them proving to us where they stand up against the better teams. It gives us a way to try and work out, okay, this is where LDLC live up against everyone else, this is where they're going to be improving, and if they stick together, potentially we can see stuff from them later on in life, but right now, they're just not good enough.
In week 2, they beat Heroic 16-14 on Cobblestone, so there's a little bit to work from for them. We spoke a lot about Mouse and the amount of AWPers as well on the team. Cobblestone can be well, a good map to have a decent AWPer on. Is it going to be Oscar? Do you think that's going to be taking this from what you've seen, or are we just going to see them pass it around willy-nilly and just whoever gets it, gets it?
Well, that's the thing. It's always kind of going to be interesting because you've got Chris J and Oscar, and obviously that was kind of the issue that caused a little bit of grumblings early on because it was like, we've got too many AWPers. It's too many AWPers, Dan. What are you going to do with them all, right? You can't hold all these AWPers.
Too many AWPs, too many AWPs. We need some more
rifles in here.
Yeah. We're going to drop our next mixtape in 2018.
It's coming out
buy
soon.
it on, I was going to say a website, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say it.
The G-Man and Jackie featuring P-Money.
I like it. I think it could work. It can definitely be something we can sell. So, okay, so those are the AWPers, and we think they're just going to... Anyone can take it.
No, that's the thing, right? Like, Oscar's most likely going to be the primary AWP coming into this. You wouldn't see why he would be otherwise. Chris J as well, though, will be donning the AWP if they need it. Coming in with that secondary AWP. Chris J as well, when he's on point with the AWP, he is on point. It's just you do have these moments where he looks lackluster and doesn't perform to the best ability. It's a shame as well because Chris J can be fantastic, but he just has these moments where he gets stuck in ruts. And you're like, come on, Chris. If he would snap out of this and really play his A game, he would be fantastic. Chris, don't make me hit you.
Chris, don't make me do it again. Don't make me get the belt out, Chris.
Maybe that's why he's been struggling. It's that constant fear.
Constant fear of the rest of his teammates just bullying him.
Oscar's
just
with
walking
a belt.
back into the team and saying, actually, Chris, I'm going to take the AWP now. And it's okay.
Just drop me the AWP, Chris. And he's like, all right, I'm sorry.
On the other side, LDLC, fan favourite for me, we've got Alex on the squad. Kind of Andy Murray of the CSGO scene as well, I'll say, because he's not really a Brit, but he kind of is, so we'll kind of take him as one of our own. Is he one of the players to watch on LDLC, or do you think this is all Existence, as you were saying earlier? Well,
Existence is obviously the in-game leader. Big Kev, he's going to be there, the brains of the situation. He's the one puppeting everything, locking it down, trying to bring things together. You know, the micromanager in terms of how he utilises his teammates. And obviously, Existence will be good to watch in terms of that, of how he's going to utilise his players. His playstyle as well, you can see him doing some damage, but he won't be really the big star player. You do have players like Twanu and Mistar, though. They're going to be sort of the ones to watch as well. Alex, as you said, does have moments of greatness, but I don't really know how well he's going to perform going into this. It was going to be interesting to see if he's still got a fairly effective rifle. In the past, he's always been actually pretty good at terms of his rifling abilities. He's been good, you know, always played on sort of the mid-tier French teams, bumped around that team for a very long time. He's always been involved in the French scene and looked good as a rifler, very proficient when it comes down to his own individual role. But you're looking essentially out for players like Twanu. You get an AWP on him, he is going to be the meme machine that is ripping you apart.
Ripping apart. That's what Jackie thinks could happen. It is going to be Mousesports versus LDLC, and we are just about ready to jump into Cobblestone. Gonna be a real test now for Mouse. Can they keep up their fine form and continue to be top of that table after we saw Astralis take a 2-0 victory over Heroic? Mouse have to answer and continue to be top of the table. It's gonna be Mouse starting on the T side, and it looks like they're edging towards B for their early push here.
Push starts comes through, but Twanu, he's so powerful with the AWP, but that transfers into his pistoling skills, and that is a damaging opener. That first initial phase, but smart, look, doesn't overcommit, doesn't run in and try and achieve something else, gets the opening frag, falls back, they now play crossfires on the site, and they're in a good spot to try pick up this pistol, but can they keep it up? Twanu, hungry for more, Dan.
Just hiding in chicken hut. Can he get a quick little one-tap? He does see ahead, and he finds Spiddy as well. Twanu continues this damage as he's just firing bullets left, right, and center and hitting headshots. He's looking for more. Eventually gets taken down by Oscar, and Lowell and Dennis come running in. Thankfully, Existence has joined the fray and makes it a 2 versus 2 situation. Can he find more with this P2000? He's going to have to back off. He wants support from his teammate, and support he gets. Maniac finds Dennis, and it's just Lowell on his own. Bomb hasn't gone down yet, but Lowell just bursts out, finds Maniac, looks for a second as well. Existence dancing around this rock here. This is going to be a huge round if LDLC could pick it up, but Lowell finds the bomb. He's going to plant it down, and everything is going to slow down as LDLC just backing off. Existence saying, I don't need to push in just yet, but he just gets caught with his pants down, trying to get in a good position. Lowell finds the final kill, and Mouse starting things off strong here, Jack.
That's the thing that's awkward, right? You come into it. Because Lau is this player that is so huge when he gets into those individual moments. He is absolutely crazy when it comes down to his own skill. He's always been that player that kind of tied Mousesports together once he joined, gave them that little bit of extra oomph they needed alongside Nico. And now just on his own right, into that scenario, anyone else you'd think, right, they've locked it down. But you're going up against Lau, peeking him 1 by 1. He's not going to miss those shots. And he tidies that round up very nicely, puts Mousesports in a good situation. Now into this one, the buy comes back through. They have these UMPs to play with. The AK on Oscar as well, but he doesn't have much utility. Doesn't matter though, the rest of his teammates are armed to the teeth. They can be zoning out the CTs. Only thing is, will they be caught off guard? You can see very up-close, aggressive angles being utilized, holding these crossfires. This could be fairly damaging if they don't clear those. Let's see if Alex and Twanu can deal some pain.
Twanu with his back turned at the moment, just doesn't want to be seen, doesn't want any of his armor to be witnessed as they walk through, but Oscar gets the opening onto Alex. Are they going to know that Twanu is there as well? Oh, Twanu comes out to play, does find a kill with a 5-7 eventually, but Lau trades onto existence. Twanu still trying to do more damage, can't quite find it though, and now Mistal left all on his lonesome over there at the B site, and he's going to be thinking, well, is it even worth me pushing here? I guess he could try and go for a quick surprise from behind here with the P250. There are a couple of weak members. You can see Chris J and Lau on 3 HP. He won't know that, though.
Obviously left now with just 1 man left standing. The rear is covered. Lau has the angle. Chris J as well with the crossfire now. He will be dispatched as soon as he peeks through, so he won't get away with anything into this one. Seeming like he will just be repositioning though, doesn't want to run the risk. Unfortunately, there's no weapons he can actually grab, so he can't scavenge anything to try and help him out here either. Does have armor and a P250. He's 100 HP. If you can stay alive, you might as well. Unfortunately, though, get spotted out. And by all weapons, it had to be one of the SMGs. That's an extra bit of cash going in the back pocket of Dennis, and a quick round for Mousesports.
Yep, going to be an eco as well. And question for you, Jackie. Why is it Mouse with a Z in the name, but Mousesports in their team name? Yep.
Because it's Mouse Sports.
Is it a play on of Mouse Esports? Hey, well, that's how to throw off your co-caster, everybody. Asking weird questions about Zs and Ss.
There you go.
As Chris J is going to be pushing on to B's site. And actually, Oscar gets the opener, but Mistal does find one of his own. 4 versus 4. Now they're just heading on to this B site very confidently, but there's shots raining down from everywhere as Twanu gets one of his own as well. Spiddy taking down Alex. Existence gets a kill here. He'll actually find an AK to work with. Very difficult to work himself out of drop here. And then we have it. Lau finishes off. It's going to be 3-0, but a lot of damage done to the economy from LDLC, Jackie.
Yeah, that was nicely done. They do force out 3 rebuys, so that's pretty good. You can see, obviously, that the buys will be coming back in. The AWP will be dropped onto big man Oscar, the absolute damaging player that he is. With that rifle in his back pocket, he is going to be creating openers for the side. You'll see him with that slow, yet aggressive style of play. He'll be creeping around, then striking with a very, very painful bite if he's able to latch onto you. Twanu as well, though, grabbing the AWP out on that CT half. Excited to see what he's going to bring to the table as we get into this first buy round. Existence, great positioning. Look at the initiative on display there as Existence flashes herself out mid, goes for the aggression, playing around the smoke, gets that pick onto Lau. That is a key man removed from the Mousesports lineup just seconds into the round.
Yeah, Existence saying bugger this, so I just want to change things up, change the speed a little bit, but elsewhere, Mouse have found themselves onto the B site. Twanu does find Dennis in Chicken Hut as well, trying to just hit anything through the smoke. Bomb's gone down. But now can they do anything here? Oscar with the AWP, a lot on his shoulders. 4 versus 3. Can he find a decent angle? Is Twanu going to continue to do damage here? Does look across. The rest of his team are just taking out everything at the moment. And it's all on Spinny. S-Bomb is down. He's found one. He finds a second. Finds a third as well. And there is a very weak Twanu here to try and find the 4th. Can he get it? No, he can't. Could have been huge. Actually quite a letdown in the end. And I think I shouted so loud there.
There was a big echo.
There was a huge ringing in my ears. But LDLC do find their first round. Spiddy almost going huge.
Yeah, that was crazy. And that's the thing, right? Coming into that, the reason why that's such an interesting play is because Spiddy has always been spoke about as like, when's Spiddy going to step up? When's he going to start performing? He's always kind of just been on the cusp, always like, oh, we need something better from him. He's underperforming once again. Today's matchup, fantastic hat-trick. That is so, so big.
Not big enough, though, Jackie.
Averagely big.
Okay. No comment. Yeah, I was just going to move on their way over towards B site again. They are favouring it. Twanu hit some good shots last time. Can he do more of the same? Still plenty of money, obviously, for Mouse, so they bought up. And it is going to be the B-side they're hitting, but they walk into 20, but 20 misses that shot, absolutely whiffs it, but doesn't whiff that one. Finds Spinny, looks for a second. Alex takes him down first, though. 4 versus 3. Mistow's got the FAMAS, and he's in a great position. They didn't spot him as they walked out, and now Oscar's got to try and do damage with this AWP. He does find one. Can he find any more?
Let's see. Oscar, we have always spoke about how damaging he is when he has the AWP in his back pocket. He's tied with Lau as well. A dynamic duo to be so scared of here as they are proficient with their weapons. Unfortunately, Maniac overpowers him here. Lau hitting the deck and it just rides on Oscar now. He's already got 1 frag. Will have to go for a quad kill if he wants to pick this one up. Spots out Existence, takes down the IGL of LDLC. Hungry for more as he positions himself round. It's Maniac and Alex left standing, grabs the bomb. 45 seconds left to play with, so he doesn't have to rush himself. He can play with pace, play calm and wait for the peaks to come towards him. Alex edging, waiting. You can see them revving their engines, hoping to go for these peaks, waiting for the right moment to strike as Oscar starts to back off, repositioning, hoping to get out of there. The mind game's coming into play. This could be huge as he starts to clear his angles, but no one is going to fall for it. They still hold strong. Oscar returns to the site now, making a little bit of noise as the smoke goes through. This could have been their cue to peek, but they just hold back as he slowly tiptoes around. Going to go for the straight commit. Surely Alex just goes to the peak and finds the kill. Will do so. Can grab that AWP for Twanu as well. And LDLC get another round on the board.
Yeah, well held by LDLC there. Not reacting to any sort of smokes coming over their heads and thinking that he might have moved on over. I was worried. I was thinking he was going to move on over to A site, and I didn't think he had the time to do it. Perhaps should have got aggressive and tried to go on for an AWP kill, but in the end, it is going to be a second round for LDLC, and that's the important factor. Mals are going to have to eco now. Are they going to go for some sort of burst play? They've tried to get onto that B site again, and LDLC seem to have it locked down now after a couple of early whiffs. Maniac just backing off after a deagle shot goes flying past his forehead. Can Mals do anything with such little artillery?
It's true. They have no equipment to try and aid them into this one. We don't see those smokes in play. Utility is lackluster. 1 flashbang on Chris J. Basically, this screams that it'll be a burst strategy. Flashbang from Chris. Everyone else bursts in. They hope to overpower someone. As they slowly make their map control approach, though, Oscar leads the charge. Is he going to clear these angles? They focus right now over towards Matrix. They work out that it's clear. Oscar gets the opening frag as well towards Maniac as they make first contact. They can try and grab that gun if they want to make their approach through side. It is going to be a pincer towards A, but can they keep up this level of aggression? Existence playing from behind SWAT van, peeks out but gets taken down. Another kill from Oscar! Another kill from Oscar! That's a hat-trick so far as the man goes mental! Oscar, the quad kill! He is single-handedly annihilating everyone! We know he is such a powerful player, but with a deagle in his hand, doesn't need an actual AWP as he is a hand cannon god.
And he is going hunting as well. It's just Twanu left on his own. Twanu is having none of this, doesn't want to throw away the AWP. Oscar, out of nowhere, has just pulled this out of the bag for Mousesports. There were questions about Oscar coming in for Nico, but I think this man is most definitely answering them. He's hungry for that ace as well, Jackie.
He is hunting absolutely John Rambo style as he wanders around going for these pre-fires, hoping to connect the frags, but Chris J should be able to take down Twanu. Unfortunately, the range will come into effect, takes him down with the AWP and tries to get out of there. Gonna run all the way away and try and hide in tower. Unfortunately, time has ticked over. They won't be able to kill him, and that's great. At least the LDLC have an AWP they can carry through into the next round, because that's all they have. But look at this replay. I imagine this is going to be Oscar just reigning supreme. 2 frags already at this point. Takes down Existence on the site, instant connect on towards Alex, and then you know what? He does one better as well. Crazy.
Always great watching replays of people dying. Just gonna say, our observer out there, could you have found those frags for us? Just a little bit of banter for my good friend Matchday observing today. Incredible stuff from Oscar. Really pulling out the tricks. Needs to do more of the same though with the M4. That he's managed to find and pick up after that round. Mouse go 4-2 up. Of course, Twanu managed to carry that through to the next round. Alex with just a UMP as well. Maybe he needs to take a close angle. Mouse taking their time. Just going to try and find that opening frag as they did with the pistols. And then they'll make their decision. Then they'll burst out onto the site. A really good response as well after we started to see some strength from LDLC over on that B site.
It's true. They started to tighten things up. It looked like a nicely, smooth run. And then all of a sudden, Mousesports, straight back into it. off a round they never should have picked up as well, where they just look so crisp now at this point. Connecting their shots, everyone's on form. They don't have the cash to get the AWP out, but it doesn't really seem necessary at this point, as Oscar was just reigning supreme without it anyway. They are going to try and gain that drop-down control. Missed out, playing essentially an anti-flash angle. He can just tuck into towards the wall if he needs to, so he doesn't get blind. Yeah, going to play anti-flash now. Essentially, now he isn't blind. He can try and fight back. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out that way. They're just going to flood out onto the bomb site. Twanu, we spoke about him, Dan, but can he live up to that?
Yeah. Just watch and drop here. Is Christian going to peek out into this one? It is going to play into the hands as Alex just jumps into the fray and whams a bullet between Chris J's brain. It's 3 versus 4. Now they're going to move on to this site, and Twanu has been pincered, leaving just Maniac with the backstab coming in for 5-7. Might be able to pick off 1, maybe 2, but this is going to be almost impossible. But we did just see Oscar do incredible work with the Deagle. It's not going to happen, though, for Maniac with his 5-7. It's going to be 5-2 for Mouse. Chris J at the bottom there, 1 and 6, but I suppose it doesn't really matter when you've got players like Oscar just finding 4Ks left, right and centre with Deagles. 5-2 now though, it's going to be another eco for LDLC, and a chance for Miles just to increase this already, well, confident start for them.
Yeah, they want to try and keep that going, keep that buffer building, and give themselves such a good advantage when they make their way through into the second half. This time around, Maniac, the only player stacked towards the A-bomb site. Everyone else is going to go for an all-out group together, stack up on the B-bomb site, try and overpower them if the push comes in. But they slow it down a little bit. Mouse just playing the default. Smart. You have the range advantage. You don't want to push into an angle that is unknown. These pistols are very effective if you hold tight crossfires, where you have the close range fight. That's where you're going to pick up those kills. Good effective damage in close range combat. Not so good when you're up against rifles, where they can just hold back and pick up those frags. Oscar as well kind of needs to stay back here, because the AWP, obviously the slow rate of fire, one shot, you have to rechamber. He can get taken down by those pistols if he goes too aggressive.
Maniac just gathering the information and backing off there. Saw a couple of feet tiptoeing towards him. As I'm impressed with Mouse at the moment on Cobblestone, to be honest. As soon as they saw any kind of strength coming out from LDLC over at B, they said, let's switch things up, let's move on over to A, and A is empty right now because LDLC hedged their butts and bets over at B site. Now A site is going to be Mouse, they're going to be able to plant this one. Now LDLC going to go for this, I guess. They have a couple, they have a Deagle, 5-7s that maybe they don't want to throw away, so they are just going to back off and save here. But now what do you do if you're LDLC? I mean, it's hard as a CT to really take the initiative. You can just really wait and hope that you can hold well. I mean, do you go for something crazy? Do you go for a little bit more aggression? Or have they just got to stay with this kind of passive style?
The thing is, on a round like this, they could have opted to go a little bit more aggressive, potentially try and take the fast style of CS, because these eco rounds, you're not going to win them out playing like actual rifle rounds, right? Yep. You need to try and do something that gives you a moment of just something, some ingenuity thrown in there. Yeah, some pizzazz, something just sorted on, and it lets you change up the round a little bit. You play it too slow, it doesn't really work out. Right now, though, they just went for the op to just hold those close angles, which can work out. If Mouse would have run in, especially if Oscar would have tried to go for an entry and potentially found a frag, they could have traded it back. Then they have an AWP in their hands. They get that over to, say, Twanu. They can fall back. You can play like far back crossfires on sites, and it's kind of easy to actually pick off people that are pushing in at that point. But it didn't go that way, obviously. In eco, you can't expect too much from them. That's wiped away. Back into the rifle rounds now. This is where they have to prove they can do some damage. That B-bomb site has been under constant attacks. Can they actually close that leak?
And is this the round where we need to see something different? I mean, we look back at LDLC when they were winning rounds as well. Existence going for that aggression through middle. I mean, perhaps that they just need to take the initiative themselves and go for a little bit of their own aggression, as smokes are going to come out onto the B site here. Great smokes, actually. Great work from these guys. Chris J is going to be burning slightly to a crisp, but he walks through though and finds Alex and takes him out. Here's going to be 5 versus 3 as Chris J continues his fine form. And the last two players, well, they're over at that A site, and they're probably just going to be hiding now. Squeaky bum time for them. They want to save those weapons. They are not going to try and retake it. It is just going to be an easy take off this B site. Plant goes down. It's going to be a 7th round for Mouse. Real question, do you go hunting here, Jackie?
They have economy to play with. They can try and run the risk if they want to. Obviously, Oscar should just hold back, but Dennis or someone, yeah, like this, they can push in and try and find those frags, as it's only going to work out to benefit them.
Hello.
Existence, not going to be protected by his teammate there. Easy kill from Dennis. Hunting round through as well. If he kills Maniac, this is absolutely atrocious for LDLC, as their money is going to be so heavily hindered off the back of that. Nice flashbang. Maniac can actually reposition and take him down, though. But now they converge. This is the thing. They know where he is at this point. It isn't going to affect them. They might as well hunt and kill him. And that round, essentially what happened as well, is what I like to call a fake too far, is the smokes go over, you try and sell the idea that it's a take towards B, then go for that mid push towards the A bomb site, right? But Chris J on the site was just able to get so many kills. Maniac does a nice job of staying alive, forces out 3 rebuys for the T's, but they do pick him off. That is going to hinder them more than it hinders Mousesports, so it's not too bad. Still very effective that they found that frag on towards Maniac, even though it looked like he did a lot of damage. But yeah, into that round, it was just the fact Chris J went huge, cleared the site single-handedly, and they're like, right, well, we've sold the fake, but we know where the last 2 players are. Let's back off and just take B. They knew it was a safe bet, so fantastic there. Around that, you know, weren't even how they were trying to play it out, but they just won just on pure individual skill. Chris was basically supposed to go in, sell the fake, find a frag, and then die.
Chris J, similarly to Oscar, just performing out of his mind at the moment. Every one of these Mouse players actually more than capable of stepping up, and I think that's why they're at the top of the Pro League at the moment. It's just easy pickings for them against LDLC. We saw a little glimmer of hope from Twanu with the AWP. Got a couple of rounds on the board, but it wasn't enough as Mouse just switched things up. So quick to react. So credit to the IGL of Mouse for just having that decision to say, look, okay, well, B's a little bit tight. Let's move over to A. Let's kind of switch things up a little bit. And then just when LDLC think they've got it on lockdown, they head back on over to B with that fake, as you said. Just throwing so many spanners in the works.
The thing is, this is good though as well, right? This is what you've been touching on. You said there wasn't too much ingenuity thrown in there. It's not that much initiative. This is smart. Alex is the only one with an actual rifle. Utilize that. Take him in those aggressive angles. And Twanu as well. The Deagle frag comes out. Massive shot off on towards Oscar. That shuts down so much of their potential on their way entering to the site.
Chris J is going to just toss a Molotov, try and force anyone out, but Mistal has not been spotted in this position as he takes down Dennis. Lau will trade it off. The 3-on-2. Mal's somehow at a disadvantage here and can't get the spray down from Lau either, and Alex just comes in and gets the double. And LDLC pull out a round of nowhere, and you're completely right, Jackie. They just showed a little bit of initiative. They went for that boost, they found the opening frag, and Twanu with that Deagle kill was absolutely massive. Mistal as well, just hiding back in that cubby hole a little bit further back. No one checked it, and LDLC are clawing their way back in.
Yeah, they're looking good. They're holding on. You know, they're trying to climb a greasy pole, so they're slipping, but they're still trying to hold that grip firm. It's going to take a little while before they get to the top, but hopefully they can do so, but not like this. A peak comes out from existence. He hopes to get an opener, but Oscar just going to ping him down, instantly connects him with that railgun down mid, and leaves them in a good position now to try and encroach upon that mid control. Look at this as they already have full control towards the upper A site. They've slipped their way in. They can push through. They can take connector control here as well if they want. A Maniac, he's going to get dispatched in a matter of seconds. Dennis finds the frag. Now things have gone in a horrific fashion for LDLC.
Yeah, Dennis in a great position as well to find Alex. Doesn't actually get it. Alex turns around on him and absolutely bamboozles him. 4 versus 3. And Chris J in a great position to drop as well. He's got so much information from all these footsteps. LDLC aren't going to be able to retake this one, but Chris J might be able to do a lot of damage to the economy. Does find one, looks for a second onto Twanu as well. He could be eliminating the whole, well, the rest of this team here if he plays his cards right. Has utility to work with as well. Molotov should force them both out. Yes, there's Alex. Can he find another one? Doesn't quite get Twanu. Twanu, instead of using that AWP, he will just whip his pistol out, and Twanu has kind of been the saving grace for LDLC. He has been that impact fragger, really made the difference. But I feel like if LDLC do go that man down and Mouse get that control, it's so difficult for LDLC to do anything here on Cbble.
Yeah, if they get that opener, LDLC instantly off the back at that point are struggling to hold those sides. The thing is as well, B at the best of time is hard to hold with, say, even a 3-player setup. It's so many angles there that it's awkward. That's why you see more commonly players rotating very easily. They'll go for the early picks towards A, then rotate to B to try and support, because it's so hard to hold all those angles when a straight up push comes in. So many line of sights get blocked off very easily by T-side smokes if you go for a standard execute, and you just can't hold it. Now, they've tried something different in a few of those rounds, and when they were actually going for those opening picks, like we saw earlier on when they went for the drop-down aggression, the first time they've actually tried to contest drop-down control in an aggressive manner, they get the first pick, they can fall back, and they go on to win the round purely because they were getting opening frags but weren't getting traded. They went for essentially one and done, very aggressive frags that worked out nicely, and it was cool to see, right? Whereas into these next rounds, they try again, existence towards mid, was hungry for it, thought, right, if I get the opener here, once again, we'll be in a good spot. Fall back, play from sites, play a little bit more passive, we can close this out. But you're going up against Oscar with an AWP who has the ankle covered, it's not going to work out. Instantly at that point, you have no way of effectively holding your sights. They just group up, they go for a push together, Mousesports just waddled in and took it.
So, do LDLC just need to kind of pick their moments better with their aggression, because rather than do it 2 rounds in a row, just maybe spread out a little bit. And was it a case of they were just too predictable and Mouse were just like, okay, Existence has already done this one time, he's probably going to do it again, and that's why Oscar was there with the AWP.
It's a very easy angle to hold. This is the thing there. They were going essentially for a mid take early on anyway. You could see they were possibly going to go for a mid and side push towards that A bomb site. So basically they're already there. Oscar's got the AWP. It's not hard to see someone peek through mid and go, oh, easy kill. You just tag onto him straight away. You know, you're going to be struggling if you miss that shot, especially the form we've seen Oscar's on. He's reacting like that. Very, very snappy. He's looking crisp today. So it's going to be a hard fight for you to do at the best of times, especially when he's performing like he is right now.
So tactical pause that came out from LDLC as they are 8-3 down. I mean, are we looking at a case that they're just not going to be having a T-side at this rate, because Mouse are just running away with it? We're possibly looking at could we even be looking at a 12-3? Because at the moment, I'm struggling to see where LDLC are going to be picking up too many rounds. They've gone for the double AWP setup, so perhaps this is something they've discussed as Maniac gets aggressive in mid. We said we wanted to see a little bit of aggression here and there. This time, we've not seen any response from Mouse. Trade does come through, but at least the AWPs now know where those players are.
Yeah, and that rotate can come through very quickly. Alex has arrived on the scene as well to help out Existence at this point, but unfortunately, they've backed off. They've done the smart thing. You get those opening frags, right? You do get the trade. Chris J is dead, sure, but you leave yourself in a 4 versus 4. You might be low, but you still have the manpower. So why are we just going to commit? Just because we've had that first fight doesn't mean we have to charge into the unknown. We back off, try readjust our assets, then go for a late round take. And they're trying to just, if there was an over-rotate early to deal with an A push, force that to re-rotate back and give them some more breathing room. Things as well, they've got the double AWP set up back out once again. Twanu and Existence. Existence is there with one of the AWPs. Twanu is stationed up towards that B bomb site, holding over by Olaf Meister. So if a peek comes through on ramp, he should get that opening frag and then be able to call that there's no one else there. Because at the end of this, it's seeming like it will be a straight up A take if Oscar and co can find the picks. But that's the question, Dan. Can Oscar land his shots? Can Dennis help him?
Alex getting aggressive. Will be able to escape with his life. Oscar did actually get a frag onto Existence as well, finding that AWP, so it's 3 versus 3, and now Oscar's going to continue just moving down towards middle, in case anyone's pushing through. As LDLC move on over to balcony, and Mistal pushes through the smoke in middle, taking down Oscar, and he's found himself an AWP as well. 2 versus 2 now, but look at Lowell and Spiddy, so weak. It's going to be extremely difficult for them to get onto the site, especially if Twanu can hold a decent angle here, Jackie.
This is true, and he's in a fantastic spot as well. That AWP so effective at this point. Alex as well with the crossfire. It's going to be hard for them to clear the angle, and they need to plant the bomb right now. They've lost. The round is over at this point. There is no way they're going to be able to win this. Spiddy left alive on 3 HP. Luckily, he doesn't die after time, so his cash won't get absolutely shafted, but it won't matter anyway, as they are in a fairly effective situation with their economy. The buy can come back out. Chris J can be dropped to rifle, and they're going to be okay. LDLC, on the other hand, a little bit of a lackluster buy on a couple of players in terms of rifles. They do have utility to play with, though. LDLC, they need to keep this up. If they want to be able to go through with a chance into the following half, they need to get some more rounds on the board.
It's those opening frags for LDLC. I think every round they've got that opening pick, they've won. So Alex showing the initiative there, bursting into middle and getting a kill with the UMP. Absolutely huge for them. Just, yes, okay, got traded off. It went back to a 4v4, but then LDLC were able to reposition themselves, hold those angles with that double AWP setup. And now you can see they're just going for the single AWP. So they're not going to go for a double AWP again. They clearly felt that they'd rather have an M4 in Existence hand, and I'm not entirely surprised. He did get picked off quite early by Oscar. If he puts himself in a position with an M4, I think he's probably better off, to be honest.
Let's see how this will unfold, though. Obviously, the T's early on, you can see how much map control they've gained towards Matrix and side pushing their way in. Maniac's hearing a lot of information, though. He should relay this as well to Existence right now. Heard a lot of audio cues, knows they've started to flash their way in, should be thinking, right, something's going on here. There is something afoot. Existence as well focusing towards mid. He's just going for these little one-and-done peaks. Jump in, jump out. Hopefully, if he spots something out, it gives him something to work with into the late round. Smoke comes over from Spiddy. It should be blocking off connector, so the line of sights are blocked. Stops that rotate as well. This actually shuts down Alex and forces him to either commit straight on towards the bomb site or back off. Here comes the push as well. Maniac gave the game away. Peaked a bit too early, but it doesn't matter. He's allowed to readjust. Maniac with a 2K before Oscar can find a frag. Leaves him in a 3 versus 3 as the push starts to unfold. Alex is there, playing close by Stables. Can he take down Oscar? Oscar somehow not been killed yet. Missed out with a frag on towards Lau. Oscar switches out to his secondary down as he connects the headshot, and he is still still alive.
How is he still alive? Twanu now going to try and find him with the orb. Oscar takes down Mistyle, leaving just Twanu. Goes for the wallbang, but can't quite find it. They can get onto this site, and they can plant it now. Oscar with just another hat-trick. This man is on fire right now. Does he know where Twanu is, though? He's just sat on over in balcony. Really difficult for Twanu to retake this site, especially if Mouse are just going to hold their crossfire as well. But you can see Chris J repositioning himself over towards Long. Is he going to be able to catch Twanu pushing out? Twanu now getting a little bit frantic. He knows time is against him. He's going to try and do something. This HG grenade could actually take down Oscar, which it does. And now he can get aggressive onto the site. And actually, Chris J not in the greatest of positions here. He can peek out, but is Twanu going to expect it? He's holding the defuse. He's got the angle. He is burning to a crisp, and Chris J does get the headshot. So Mouse get that ninth round on the board. Just when LDLC, we were thinking they were getting back into the game. Oscar whips it out yet again.
Oscar, he is just looking on point so far throughout the game. You can see he's just been tearing his way through everyone. Horrific as well because of the situation they're left in now. LDLC, off the back of that, the reset comes back in. You can see their economy has fled away. It doesn't want to be sticking around them at this point as they just look broken. They are left with these measly pistols. They do have armor out. Maniac has a kit as well. A little bit of utility, mostly just flashes, so it's not too great. Of an explosion on towards the B-bomb site into this round as well. The range advantage, peeking right now, they should just be able to find these frags very, very easily. Seems like they have utilized the tree angle, so you can try and hammer down, but missed down, nearly eliminated off the bat. Oscar going for this contact opener.
Yeah, can't quite find anyone just yet, but luckily his teammates can. He does get the snapshot, but Chris J actually is the one to finish him off and put him in his grave. There's just 2 members of LDLC remaining on this site, and somehow Maniac gets a frag onto Chris J as well. It's 2 versus 2, and suddenly Mouse are on the back foot. They're having to back off, and the bomb is in control of LDLC. Can they find weapons? Yes, they can. Maniac's got an AK, and he gets the spray down onto Lowell and Spiddy, and somehow they found a round. They put a 5th on the board, and LDLC with no right to win that one. Absolutely ridiculous stuff from them.
Oscar is going to be furious there, obviously getting team killed. Unfortunately, he didn't have too much health to play with. Chris J was trying to just spam out, do some damage, took down his teammate. Instant deficit on their man numbers, then the frags start to come through. That is such an unfortunate round to lose. The damage done to their economy as well into the final round of the half leaves them playing with essentially toys of weapons. They have these UMPs to play with. It's not very effective into what they want going into this. Lack of utility as well. They don't have too much, not many flashes. They're going to use those smokes early if they try and go through this. They won't have too much into the late round. LDLC, they're in a good spot to trap this up. Twanu as well, might have a max 7, but playing close range like this, should be able to find frags.
I'd like to think so. Interesting position. Is he going to be able to find Chris J, or is a teammate going to finish him off? No, he does get that frag. No one else to get the trade. Idiot. Maniac's going to burst out and try and get sprayed down, but he can't quite hit a shot as Oscar will continue his damage from earlier with this Deagle. Gets a weapon as a reward now, and they can push on to this site here. He's just going to continue his rampage, Oscar. Can he find any more frags? This would be a huge round for Mouse. What could have been like an 11-4 if they hadn't have thrown that one away. Consistency, a big issue for Mouse's existence will take him down. Spiddy trades it off. It's 3 versus 3, and they're trying to just bombard their way onto this site, and Lau with the UMP will actually get a kill into existence. 2 versus 2. Twanu only has a mag 7 to work with as well, so if they keep their distance, this should be a round for Mouse, as here comes Dennis from behind, makes it 10-5, and what a half that has been from Mouse. We're going to go for a short break. We'll be back soon. To 5, an advantage of Mouse then, and it could have been a lot worse. Still a few question marks above Mouse's head, because as soon as we thought they were in control, they just throw away around that they really should be winning the team kills here, there, and everywhere. But still a confident half, right?
Yeah, it's true, right? That's one round in a million. It was one that was kind of awkward. Sure, if Chris J didn't get that team kill over towards Oscar, it could have been a different storyline, but who knows? LDLC looked fairly good in that round. They played it quite smartly, and then went on to get the next one they needed as well. So they do end the half in that 10-5 scoreline. That's very good for them in terms of how it looked like it was going to go. Not great in terms of cobblestone CT halves, but good because it looked bad. It looked like they were just going to get locked down very easily. Mousesports were going to go through and dominate, potentially only allow them to get 3 rounds. You only get 3 rounds. If they won pistol, they were out of the game. It was as good as done already. So now coming into 5 rounds, a little bit more of a buffer, but that pistol is still looming over their heads, and it is so important. They need to get it.
And do we think LDLC, how's their T-half going to go down? Because there were times where they tried to show a little bit of aggression on their CT side, and it did pay off, but then they continued to do maybe little silly mistakes by showing aggression again, maybe being a little bit more predictable, and you can't be predictable when you're on your T side. So how do you see the second half playing out?
Honestly, coming into it, once again, like, it relies so heavily on that opening pistol. If they come in here hard and fast, Mousesports for me as well are the team you have to look at here for the pistol. Just out of respect, you've got to say they're going to pick this one up. Great AWPers, as I've said so many times, AWPing skills transfer over on towards pistol skills. As well, Lau is crazy at pistol rounds. We saw that when we kicked off the game as well. He was able to get that 1 versus 3, right? 3 fantastic frags that allowed him to lock it down. And once again, here's Lau, kicks it off the 2K, damaging stuff as he rips his way through everyone. That is absolutely spectacular. Hungry for the fur, but he's not allowed to get it. Alex shuts him down, but meanwhile, there's Chris J going large and in charge to wipe it out. We said look out for Mouse, you have to give it to him for respect, but I did not expect that.
What did that man have for breakfast this morning? Absolutely disgusting stuff. Not the breakfast, the play. 11-5 for Mouse now, and they can just carry this momentum through onto their CT half, instantly putting LDLC right on the back foot. Need a response now from LDLC if they are going to be able to get back in this game. We see some Tech-9s being brought up, a Deagle as well. We saw crazy Deagle plays coming out from Oscar earlier. Can Existent live up to what Oscar did in the previous half?
True, let's see if Big Kev himself will whip something out of the bag. Obviously, the in-game leader for the side has a lot of utility. He's going to be the one that has the skimp on armor. That's always the curse of being the in-game leader. He will be the one trying to allow them to get into the site. Go for the approach. But Oscar, UMP close range, he can do some damage here if he can connect the shots. Only gets 1. There's the trade back. Obviously, they have the manpower advantage. Overwhelm now. Try and just flood your way onto the site, explode out, and lock things down. But they play kind of smartly, actually. They get the opening frag, then they back off, play restricted. They're left in a 4 versus 4. They have 1 weapon to play with at this point. Drop that over to Twanu, and they just try to slow it down. Hope that Mousesports might make another mistake. Make this situation better for them, and let that lead get even further.
Well, there was the potential mistake, but Dennis actually finds the frag onto Twanu. As you said, they just slowed things down. They didn't burst out onto the site. If they had, they would have just run into the Molotov from Dennis. So clever play for them, but actually they've just allowed Dennis to push up into middle here. Maniac's going to be able to pick up the bomb and try and back off. He knows full well Dennis could be lurking around somewhere. So LDLC just kind of stuck in a rut here in middle, well aware they could be attacked from any direction, and that's why Maniac's just panicking. Smoke does come through, and Dennis will hear all these audio cues as Lau is actually coming to the party now. Dennis just spots out, missed out now, but bursts out and finds Maniac as well. 12-5. That's going to be an eco for LDLC. We should be looking at 13-5, but I've said similar things so far in this series, and LDLC have pulled it out when we've least expected it.
It's true, LDLC are one of these teams that have these weird moments where they can just come out of nowhere, have a good rally, and find these frags, but I don't know, right now it looks like they are just getting pounded. We talked about how vital that pistol round was.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was very easy. They were like a knife through, hot knife through butter. They just slipped their way through. Mousesports getting that opening frags. Locking it down, they get the pistol, they get the second round. This is going to be their 3rd round on the trot, as they will be locking this one down. I really don't see LDLC doing too much. Looks like they're just going to go for a heavy commit, fast drop burst to work your way in. That native Spiddy, if timed correctly, will transfer an awful lot of damage onto them. Then it's just going to be easy pickings for the SMGs.
Does take down Twanu to half, and then Chris J throws a grenade of his own. Will get the spray down, turns around, and Lau's there to help him out. And it's just going to be Alex all on his own. This round was always going to be a little bit of a formality. Can Alex throw a spanner in the works to do any damage? He's only going to be able to take down Dennis. There's the 13th round, of Mouse now edging ever closer, and if they take this one, that's probably GG no re. Just fine form from Mouse, to be honest, and it's all off the back of that pistol, and it's all off the back of just crazy pistol plays. I mean, let's go back to that pistol round. Having that confidence to just jump up there onto long and hit those shots was unreal.
That's Lau, right? That's the Lau factor in the team. He is so crazy. We spoke about him in the sort of the pre-ramble when we spoke about how he is such an individually talented player, much like Oscar. It's kind of the star factor. Before, they had to sort of work around Nico. Now, they can just shine themselves and go for these very flamboyant plays, and it pays off. That was crazy to see. Nice opener into this one as well. They didn't lose that many players. They only lost one, so the cash is good for them. They were able to tear their way through very effectively. Why won't Oscar buy the orb? He might as well. He's damaging on it. Dennis as well. Look at this. Cheeky plays coming out. They are just doing whatever they want. They are running rampant as they find these openings. Existence does get the trade back, but still, a 4 versus 4 might favour the T's at this point. But are they in a good situation to actually try and take this? I would be scared of the site that Oscar is situated to right now.
Yeah, confidence just oozing through Mouse's veins right now. As you said, 4 versus 4. There are only UMPs on the side of Mouse, but of course we know, everyone knows, it can be extremely deadly. What can LDLC do? Can they change anything here in this game? Can they fend off the inevitable of Mouse winning this one? Because it's really hard to look past a very strong side that have not let up. They've been absolutely ruthless against LDLC, and speaking of ruthlessness, Oscar continues to just hit shots left, right and centre on existence, should I say, but eventually Maniac comes in. Twanu gets one of his own, so it's just Lau on his own. It's 3 versus 1. Those UMPs actually haven't worked out in the end. Can Lau do some damage here? Just 20 seconds left. Bomb hasn't gone down yet. If he can take down the bomb, this could be huge. Finds one onto Twanu. Is now going to watch this cross here. If he can just shut down, he needs to just push and get aggressive, try and stop this, but it's not going to happen. Missed out with the AK. Finishes it. It's going to be 6th round for LDOC, but it was just kind of a scout round with all 4 of those UMPs.
Yeah, that's the thing. It wasn't that bad for them, right? Because sure, what was the big investment? The AWP. But they still have money to play with. The rest of them just skimped, went for the UMPs. If they lost the round, it didn't matter. What that gives them, though, is the insight onto how LDLC play out their buy rounds, because they fully committed into that. The only difference maker is now they have AWP, but look at this. Double AWP setup comes into play. Chris J, another absolutely prolific fragger when it comes to utilizing the AWP. He is back on the weapon. Him and Oscar, that dynamic duo should be damaging, but unfortunately Twanu as well, he is a beast when it comes to his AWPing skills. Straight away, wiped away Oscar from the scoreboard. Chris J is going to have to go big in terms of his AWPing capabilities into this round now, as LDLC have a good situation right off the bat.
And we spoke about confidence, and sometimes actually confidence can be your downfall. The peak there from Oscar, perhaps unnecessary. Yes, okay, if he got the frag, I would have been calling his praises, but instead now, Mouse are a man down. As you said, Chris J does have an AWP as well. Dennis has found the AWP on the corpse of his friend, but it's not going to be doing anything. Twanu was there awaiting and continues to hit shots here with the AWP. Chris J just going to watch down B-Long here. No one playing ball just yet, but it does look like they are heading towards this site at the moment. And we spoke before and we said, yep, okay, so Oscar is the primary AWPer for the team, but it's must be difficult to sit back for Chris J because he has always been known as such an incredible AWPer. Well, this is your chance to shine. Can you pull anything out here?
Yeah, Chris J, the old Scout King. An absolute master when it comes to the scoped weapons in CSGO. Let's see what he can bring to the table. Though the fire is going to be extinguished, this allows Lau to get into a good position. Lau, this is going to be so smart from him. If he plays around this smoke effectively here, could do a lot of damage. Here in the audio cues as well, he should be relaying this information to his teammates as everyone is sprinting out of there. It is a 3 versus 5. The A bomb site, there is a welcome mat down. The T's have claimed it. At this point, you just go for the save. They're not going to be able to retake this. They have a good buffer to play with. Why would we run in and get absolutely obliterated on the retake here? 5 players in fantastic positions on the A-bomb site. As soon as they situate themselves and get bunkered in, you are really, really struggle to try and take that back.
And LDLC now in a position as well where they're going to be 7-13 down. I don't think they'll be too fussed about trying to take weapons off Mouse. They just know they need to play flawlessly. They need to play their game. They don't need to worry about what Mouse have got. As we just take a quick look at the statistics, you can see Oscar there with 20 frags. Really has been the difference maker. Did get slightly overzealous in that round, tried to go for that early peek, and Twanu punished him for it. So perhaps next round Oscar might just sit back and allow LDLC to push into him. Maybe just Mouse need to just calm down a little bit, allow that confidence just to settle, and they should be able to close this one out.
Yeah, just try and bring it down a little bit, reset the tempo. Thing is, the damage has been done to their economy at this point, if you have a look through, but they can buy up around it. It's not that bad. Sure, everyone's sitting at about 2k, but the thing is they only lost 2 players. So the casualties coming to effect there don't really outweigh the amount of money they have. So they can skimp around, get the buy back in. Utility is very healthy as well. I thought it'd be a little bit worse than that. And then you have the 2 UMPs in place. That's pretty good. Definitely not the best buy, but should be able to work out. Now, Oscar, the only man on the AWP, maybe he'll play a little bit more of a lax style of CS as well. Last time around, they had the double AWP setup, so he was allowed to be a little bit more aggressive, and that really did not pay off for them. Playing more of a restricted angle, waiting for the peaks to come towards him, could benefit them into this round as well. Once again, though, it's going to be aggression early on towards that B bomb site. Alex completely trapped off guard from the rest of his teammates, though. But he will be fine. There is a smoke there blocking him. Once that dissipates, he can regroup with the rest of his teammates and start to back up if they want to.
So Oscar just holding the A-long spot over there. He was getting quite aggressive once again, but no one there to punish him. We will back off to the site now as LDLC considering jumping into drop here. Mistal just firing a few warning shots. Spiddy's going to be watching the window in case anyone pops out. They've got control of drop. Spiddy in a prime position here. Well, actually get seen though because of the jump coming from Mistal, so they will just avoid him completely and maybe find their way onto this B site. Chris J in a good position if he can get up close and personal against Alex, who is just edging through the smoke. Is Chris J aware of this position there? Another smoke comes out now from his teammate. And Mouse are just slowing this one right down. Just trying to eat away at that clock and force LDLC to panic and rush onto a site.
Just trying to force their hand, cause that moment of doubt. Oscar with the AWP. Nice shot. Look at that as he takes down Maniac. That is a huge, huge frag. But things kick off now. They have to unfold aggression towards Chris J. Alex will overpower him. The AK skills on display as he starts to slay. Lau with a fire back though. M4. Maniac as he rips his way through. Maniac. Oh, Spiddy actually as he comes in with the connection on towards Existence as well. Follow-up frag. Spiddy is performing fantastically. We've spoken about how important he is. If he steps up and actually plays, filling his boots in that ground though, we'll be able to do some damage. Everyone on Mouse is performing today. That's the difference maker. In past matchups where they've slipped away, it's because they've been underperforming on a couple of players. Namely, it's always Dennis and Spiddy that don't perform. This time around, they're in a good position. Sure, they might not be leading in terms of fragging capability, but they've been getting the impact frags they needed. They've been hitting their shots and supporting their team in the roles that they have to play to. Double AWP setup once again comes back out though. Chris J using one of them, Oscar on the other. Oh, Oscar an awful lot of damage early on though. He will get some hot feet and forced to fall back.
Yeah, I think that showed how important that save was a couple of rounds ago as well for Mouse. So I said LDLC don't need to worry about it, and maybe they shouldn't go hunting, but perhaps if they had, and they had really screwed the economy of Mouse, they could have been looking at a different scoreline at the moment. Instead, it's going to be Mouse with just 2 rounds away from taking this first map on Cobblestone, and they will solidify themselves at the top of the table after today, finding themselves on 8 wins. As Astralis did join them on 7 wins earlier on when they took down Heroic. LDLC are lining up, but they're lining up for Chris J just to fire off shots through the smoke. And Lau, look at this positioning. He's going to be a man just bursting through. He's flashed, but he will still find Maniac. Anyway, looks for more. Can't quite find Twanu, but the rest of his team are there to clean up the pieces. And Twanu just all on his own. Does do a little bit of damage here, but he's only on 12 HP, which will mean the HG can finish him off. Match point now for Mousesports.
What a play there from Lau. I mean, that's crazy, right? We spoke about how effective he is, and that is really good. He didn't get that many frags off of it, but it was just how useful it was in delaying, causing them to second guess. They had to loop back, they had to try and help out their teammates. Destroys the entire backline, basically, because they have to then focus, and it just makes it so much harder when they then go for that late round pushing towards the bomb site. Now look at them. Final round of the half, and they are broken. They've gone to the jumble cell. They've tried to grab whatever they can to use it into this round, but it is lackluster to say the least. 3 Tech 9s, you have an AK, and you have that UMP. Most importantly as well, they don't have much utility. They might have a couple of smokes, but nothing else to really aid them. And Oscar on the aggression. How will you stop this man when he just takes the fight straight to you? Shutting down Alex. Dennis towards mid as well, warding off the T, saying, get out of here, as they start to back off. And this is looking like this game could be over very quickly.
Yeah, that's the thing. Mouse just judging the economy perfectly. Oscar saying, look, likelihood of them having an AWP, very slim. I'm more than happy to push out like I did earlier. There's not going to be Twanu to answer me with an AWP shot. And Oscar is just absolutely explosive today. Spiddy actually going to get caught out by Twanu there. Great work from him with the pre-fire as Lau was taking down Maniac as well and dropped. There is another player that Mistal is going to be in his sightlines if he jumps out of window, but Existence now going to come around to join, and it looks like they're going to head towards B rather than A. Several players from Mouse still over at that B site though. So it depends really where LDLC want to push, because either way they are going to be pushing into the Mouse players. I wonder if Oscar got that information of them coming out of window. Actually walks into Lal, and now it's just 2 players remaining. This is the last chance, the last ditch attempt for LDLC. Can they finish things off, Mouse here, or are they going to be a spanner in the works from LDLC? No, they won't. Dennis will get that last kill, And Mouse will find their 8th win of the season here on Cobblestone, and it was, well, it was a rout, to be honest, Jackie.
Yeah, this was just a bloodbath when you look at it. And so many of the players that needed to step up for Mouse did. And it was awesome to see. It was kind of just a star performance from so many of the great fraggers on that side, especially just the opening rounds from Lau. We get into those pistol situations, and basically both times I said, it's the respect to win for Mousesports, because you look at the amount of names they have on there that are so effective with those pistols, and Lau is always going to be the big one. Sure, Oscar is that fragger that can come into the late game and just destroy everyone, and Lau can do that as well, but in the pistol rounds, he is uncontested in terms of how effective he is. He has a great understanding of game mechanics, and in terms of his individual aim capability as well, he is the clutch master. It looks like he never gets affected in what situation you throw him. You can throw him in the middle of the river, and he will always just feel happy about where he is and be able to come up big with some opening frags.
And is there a chance for LDLC to tie this one up and take a map for themselves, or is there just a sheer golfing class between these two teams, do you feel?
See, the thing is, right, LDLC have had some good results, as we said. Yeah. It's not been all doom and gloom from throughout Season 5, but I still don't feel like they're going to be ready enough. This Mousesports lineup, even minus Nico right now, it seems like they've actually been allowed to be a bit more loose. The players that in the past have been caged in are now allowed to be let off their leash and can go for these aggressive plays, and it's definitely showing. And the thing is, I just feel like LDLC aren't ready to try and take this down.
You know, this is the thing. I mean, yes, okay, they lost Nico, but Oscar is really turning up, and he's here to play. And yeah, okay, it was a shame when they lost, for example, against Spirit, and a lot of fans were like, oh god, here we go, it's going to be an absolutely awful doom and gloom. But then they take down North, now they're taking down LDLC as well. So things are looking up for Mouse, and I guess they never really looked down because they've been sat at the top of the table. They only have 1 loss at the moment. That's going to be 8 wins. Second place is Astralis with 7 wins and 5 losses. So there is such a cushion for Mouse to work with as they move on to the rest of this season. And it's going to be a question of, can anyone answer them? Games like LDLC, yes, they should be winning these, but it's going to be a question of whether, when they face up against the big teams, can they do more of the same. That's going to be Cobblestone done and dusted. We'll be back shortly for a game of Nuke.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, PaySafeCard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.